I'm doing a tribute to Brian Barczyk and how he infected us all and how he inspired all of us. And just Brian was that kind of guy, was like a magnet to everyone. It's like everything is drawn into him, and it's just like he's like a gravitation. It's like you admire the way he speaks about his animals and the way he is really passionate about them. It was a beautiful thing to watch him grow and become the man that he was and still is. It was just transpiring about all the stuff that he did and all the trials and tribulations and all the knockdowns that he got and received. It was sad. Everybody makes mistakes, and that's how we learn from our mistakes. And Brian knew that, and Brian knew what he needed to fix and work on, but people were not kind. So it's like, in order to grow, you have to learn from the base experiences that you went through, from negative to positive. That's how it always goes. You always want to teach the mistakes to other people so they, along the way, don't make those mistakes. And Brian was one of those guys to educate that. And his brain of knowledge of reptiles is incredible. I think he went by far by anyone that I've seen educate about animals. It's just like everything he knew was just coming out of his mouth, and he was like an encyclopedia for reptiles. And I love that about him. And it was a drive about him that just like, wow, I want to learn so much from this man, because it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I'm really interested in. And he woken that up inside of us. Well, inside of me. I don't know about everybody else, but most likely he did. And everywhere he went, he was just kind. He gave people the time. I do admire his work. And it's like, we have to give out flowers before our mentors go away or a tragic incident like this happens. And it's just sad. And my heart goes out to the family, and I hope they're doing well. And I know his son, he's gonna be doing really great, and I wish him well to pick up his father's torch. He's not gonna be like Brian, but he's gonna be in his own way. And I feel like we should all accept him as well, and don't bash him for doing what he needs to do, especially picking up from where his father left off. And especially dealing with this kind of matter is hard to do. His son is just as strong to do all of this and still know that his father is not going to be there to see that. And much power to you.
When I started my YouTube journey in 2008, I couldn't have imagined having 100,000 people, let alone 5 million just on the one channel. So it's been an amazing ride, and I love you guys. And I hope that through this journey, the one thing that you guys are taking from it is that to get inspired. I hope that we're inspiring hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of people to love animals, to continue to fall in love with the things that I love.
I still have something very special for you. For those of you guys that don't know, I did a documentary called Brian in the Wild. Let's keep getting people to love animals and wildlife and have experiences and dedicate their life to animals, and ultimately to love animals and to love wildlife and love life. My hope is at the Legacy Aquarium, my legacy throughout everything is going to last a long time. You know, I've lived my life. I've made plenty of mistakes. You guys know, you've seen me grow as a person. You've seen me grow as an animal keeper. You've seen me grow as my love for education blossom with the repterium and now the aquarium. Hopefully that's open by the time you guys watch this.
Brian was like the guy that educates about snakes. He was really drawn into snakes, more of snakes. You know, Steve Irwin liked crocodile. Well, Brian Barczyk was into snakes. So like if you've seen reptiles like in a store like a crocodile, we already know that came from Steve Irwin. If you see snakes, it has to be the same with Brian. You'll see Brian if that's snakes in the store, because what Brian did was educate about snakes that people don't understand and like overcome their fear of the snakes and understanding the animal. Because like Brian said, he said the opposite of fear is knowledge. Once you know the knowledge, you no longer fear of it. And I took that into initiative, and I drove with it my whole entire life, and now I'm dealing with ball pythons, and I love them, and they're incredible animals, and I see why he was so drawn into them. And it's just a remarkable way of Brian and how he processes everything and how he educates stuff. His passion and knowledge was unwavering. Love for reptiles, it was just like, wow, you know, I want to get into that. And that will always forever be remembered for what the things you did and educated Brian. I just wish that, you know, we met and you transpired everybody globally around the world. You touched so many hearts. That's how much impact you had on each and every one of us. Brian's contagious enthusiasm for reptiles captivated all of us. I just know it. And he embraced every opportunity to share every moment with the animals to teach us. There will never be another Brian. There will never be another Steve Irwin. You just gotta be your own way. And he brought it his own way. I learned more from him than I learned more from Animal Planet. It's just, Brian was that good. He was just like a reptile whisperer, and he knew how to treat them well. He knew what they wanted, what they needed, how they needed help. Everything about a reptile, this man educated, and that was awesome to me because there's not that many educators that are really showing they're really passionate of what they do and doing it for a living, and you can see it both transpire into something really good and great. Brian transcended globally around the world, and that is amazing. And if for you to say you wasn't inspired by that, it's insane. Around when Brian was 17, he had 2 Burmese albino pythons, and he bred them and made 40 grand and started BHB at the age of 17. That is very impressive. If that's not inspiring, I don't know what that is, because he made from just a little bit of money he was saving as a child, and look at where he was now. It's just amazing. And I wish he was there to see the legacy open and just share his experience with us like he shows every animal that he has. It was just a wonderful feeling. I've been watching his channel since 2008, and I loved it. And he was my getaway from every situation that I was going through in life, as in foster care, growing up with a rough childhood. Brian took that away from me by educating and showing the things I love. He was my go-to guy to get away from things that bothered me in my life, that I was like watching him, and it just automatically went all the way because of Brian's passionate for his animals and made me want to do more and be more. I have my fullest gratitude towards this man and how he changed everything in my life, looking things differently. And also my children felt the pain along the way of his passing. My son is 6 years old. When he was like three to 4 years old, he was watching Brian, and he loved Brian as well. He would sit down on the couch with me. We would just kick back and relax, and me and my son just watching reptiles together. And when Brian did egg time, my son would go crazy, a 3-year-old singing egg time with Brian, because Brian sparked everyone. Just any age, Brian did that. And my son would sing egg time, egg time, egg time, and then egg time. It was just so cute that my son was doing that, and I think it was awesome. And Brian was getting bashed for stuff like that, and I don't think it was nice. And I think it was wonderful because he gravitated the crowd to just little kids too. And that's what I loved about Brian, because I'm watching him, and now my kid that's growing up is watching him. He was just that guy. I'm sorry, I'm cracking up. And his dedication and personality and his genuine love for these reptiles, it's like it enriched our lives in so many ways. It may never fully express ourselves in how the way he did it. It was just so much that Brian did for us. And the way he was with people and how he interacted with everybody and the way he's just moved. He had his own swag, and it was just a beautiful sight. And until this day, I watched every step of the way. He made me into the guy I am today. And I was going through a lot of struggles in my life, and I didn't know where I was gonna end up. And like, your contribution for the reptile community will always live on. And when your legacy opens, I'm definitely gonna make my goal to make it there. And I wish you were there to go see all of us there to see the opening of your legacy. But you always will forever hold a special place in all of us, in all of our hearts. And may your journey beyond as captivating and wonderful as the legacy you left behind. I love you, Brian. And thank you for everything you have done. Brian said, the only thing that matters is to be kind to other people. And I live by that for a very long time. Anyone that knew me or knows me that came to me, I was always with open arms and always educating as much as I can, because that was inspired by Brian. And I just love talking about reptiles. Even my shirt says that, you know, it's just Brian's influence. It's Brian all in us that we didn't even know about, that we did have, and Brian is everywhere. And I appreciate you, Brian. Thank you for all the good memories you gave us and gave me to be a better man today. Thank you, and we love you.
I wanted to tell you how much I love you and how much I really do appreciate you. Again, you guys changed my life. Without that, I couldn't have lived the life I lived, and it's been pretty spectacular. If you're watching this is my goodbye to you. And the thing is that, you know, there's a saying that says, you know, you never die until the last person speaks your name. Help my legacy last. I want people to think like, wow, he changed so many people's lives and brought them to love animals and to stop being afraid of snakes and all the other things that I do. So please do me a favor, keep that going, and don't stop speaking my name.